Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gershwin, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today, we continue talking about the Necrons as we get into specific Necron worlds. We're going to give you an overview, or a refresher really, of what different types of Necron tomb worlds there are, and then we're going to go into each individual tomb world that exists out in the galaxy, basically. If you guys have any suggestions for other topic ideas, please comment down below. And if you want to read up more on this topic, jump on over to the wiki page. Again, link is down in the description. With that said, let's get into 40 facts about Necron tomb worlds. For many of the galaxy's intelligent species, the re-emerging Necrons are but one terror amongst many in the darkness between the stars. Even within the Imperium of Man, the Necrons are only dimly understood, with just a handful of individuals aware of the true scale of the threat they represent to mankind's domain over the galaxy. Just as Necron society has a hierarchy, so too are its tomb worlds. The most important are the Crown Worlds, oldest and proudest of all the Necron-held planets. They are the site from which their dynasties and planetary clusters are governed. Crown Worlds were once hubs of galactic power in the ancient days of Necron might, buttressed by tithes and tributes sent from elsewhere within the territories of their ruling dynasties. With access to such great resources, Crown Worlds were able to construct the most reliable stasis crypts for their inhabitants. As a result, Crown World inhabitants that have weathered the slumbering millennia without falling to external circumstances have done so in excellent condition, though this only dampens the tragedy for the Necron race when a Crown World is lost to galactic calamity. Next in importance for any Necron dynasty are Core Worlds, planets which together form the heart of the dynasty's interstellar territory. The rulers of Core Worlds would inevitably be the close kin to the regent of their dynasty's Crown World, ensuring a bond of dynasty loyalty endured between the often diverse planets. Though neither so majestic nor so mighty as the Crown Worlds, the Core Worlds were great powers to be reckoned with in their heyday, and bearing disaster are so again in the late 41st millennium. Finally, Necron Fringe Worlds are planets of somewhat importance to their ruling dynasty, not viewed as being of high enough status to be numbered amongst the dynasty's core worlds. Fringe Worlds were often poor or distant colonies of a dynasty, able to contribute to the wider realm only in terms of manual labor or as a location for penal institutions. Fringe Worlds may have once counted amongst the core worlds of a different dynasty, but have since been conquered or otherwise subsumed into the dominion of their current ruler, thus descending in status. There is no such thing as a typical Necron tomb world. Each answers only to the will of its noble ruler, and thus his proclivities define everything from its grand campaigns to its architectural style and forms of address between noble ranks. Nevertheless, there is one common cause that binds all tomb worlds: the rebuilding of the Necron dynasties of old, and the return of the Necrons to their rightful place of supremacy over the whole of the ignorant galaxy. The tomb worlds we will speak about today represent no more than a handful of the many millions spread throughout the galaxy. Each revived world has its own idiosyncrasies, and the number is ever growing. Who can say how far-flung outposts of mankind have their foundation set upon a planet long ago claimed by the immeasurably older civilization, its inhabitants blissfully unaware of the slumbering horror at their planet's core? In these days, the Necrons awakening, no world in the galaxy can ever be safe. Mandragora the Golden, Crown World of the Sautek dynasty, was always an important world, a hub for the Necron armies that did battle on the eastern rim of the galaxy. When the war in heaven ended, Mandragora's stasis crypts were filled to capacity with some of the finest warriors that the Necron dynasties could command. Mandragora's defenses were second to none, as befit a world of its status, and it survived the Great Sleep intact and safe from the attentions of plunderers. So did Mandragora emerge from hibernation not only hale and whole, but with a vast Necron legion at its command, a situation its new Pharaon, Imhotep the Stormlord, was quick to exploit. Ordering Mandragora's dolmen gates, reactivated, he sent forces to seize the many core worlds from the orc hordes of war boss Snagratooth. With the orcs driven off or destroyed, the reclaimed tomb worlds were then awoken, swelling Imhotep's forces further. Since then, the armies of Mandragora have proved an ever-present threat on the Imperium's eastern border, and one that continues to grow. Due to a devastating fault in a dimensional stabilizer array, the crown world of Genden, Planet of Shadow, crown world of the Nihilak dynasty, is half-phased into a pocket dimension for all but a few standard hours of its stellar orbit. What was first thought to be a catastrophe has since proven to be a great boon to the Necrons of Genden, as their world is now almost entirely impervious to assault. Deep beneath Genden's surface lies the Oracle Chamber, where the bulbous head of an ancient alien prophet, gifted with psychic precognition, is kept alive through a combination of stasis field technology and temporal stabilizers. The prophet's thoughts are projected as multi-facade holographic images, which in theory show events yet to unfold. That said, the creature continually rails against his ghoulish imprisonment, and oftentimes mimics the images so that they mislead his captors as often as they are truthful. The tomb world of Thanatos is a hollow planet. Hidden at its heart is one of the galaxy's greatest treasure, the celestial orrery. Crafted by artisans of the Oruskar dynasty long before the onset of the war in heaven, this web of holograms and living metal is beyond price for its artist value alone. Yet the celestial orrery is far more than mere decorative finery. The tiny trinkets of glowing light suspended within the impossibly intricate holographic matrix record the positions of every star in the galaxy. Snuff out one of these lights, and its physical counterpart in the real galaxy will go supernova long millennia before its destined time, bringing fiery oblivion to all nearby worlds through the use of technology far beyond the understanding of mankind. Such an act cannot be performed without consideration, as each star destroyed in this fashion upsets the fundamental forces of the galaxy, setting off a catastrophic chain reaction of events. Only with further manipulation of the celestial orrery can these forces return to their proper balance, and this invariably takes many thousands of standard years, constant and precise micromanagement. With so much power at their fingertips, it is well that the royal court of Thanatos is not given to maniacal displays. Rather, they see themselves as the gardeners of creation, and dispassionately use the orrery in precise and sparing manner, pruning the galaxy only out of need to prevent it from becoming wild and overgrown. Alas, this restriction is not something universally respected. Unending war rages across Thanatos' barren continents and in the skies above, as the armies and fleets of Oruska dynasty seek to prevent the celestial orrery from falling into the incautious hands of aliens and other Necron dynasties alike. In the extreme northeast of the galaxy lies the region known as the Ghoul Stars. Here, on worlds lit by cold rays of dying suns, tread creatures out of primal nightmares. Scythor fiends, Tolgaran broodreeks, and other creatures so alien as to seem born out of the supernatural. Yet even here, one horror outpaces all others, the Bone Kingdom of Draak. Draak is a world that serves as a haunt for the Flayed ones. These cursed Necrons, blighted by a terrible disease that has given them the irrational hunger for organic flesh. They stalk Draak's desolate streets, fighting over goblets of rotting meat and shards of bone, desperate to sate the clamor of their deluded senses. Only one amongst the Draaka's entire population of Necrons is proof from the Flayed virus preventing madness. Volgul, the Fallen Lord. From his throne of splintered bone and tanned skin, Volgul rules over his cardinaled kingdom, his one good eye ever fixed upon retaining what small measure of order he can. Seemingly, Volgul remains untouched by the Flayed virus that has consumed his people. But what truly sane creature would willingly live amongst gibbering Flayed ones? Perhaps he remains because of a sense of duty, Or maybe his personal madness merely takes another more subtle form. Valgul's rule is not founded on reason. The devolved nature of his subjects makes such notions laughable, but is grounded in his ability to provide the gory bounty in which his subjects delight. Every few solar months, when no more meat remains, whether because it has been torn into fragments too tiny to scrabble over, or simply due to rot, Valgul announces a new time of bounty and dispatches the fleets of Draak to raid nearby worlds. These reavers of Draak seek not riches nor conventional plunder, only red harvests of gore and cooling blood. Though nominally a tomb world, Tantis, the Raider's moon, is in truth but a Necron fringe world, and the satellite of a much larger and resourceful rich imperial world of Mandal. Since reviving, the Necrons of Tantis have been a terror to Mandal's human farming and mining communities. Striking always in the hours of darkness, low-flying squadrons of night sights flit over the landscape, deploying small forces of Necron raiders to plunder and pillage. It is not uncommon for entire human settlements to be overwhelmed and harvested within a single night, with only a large and barren crater to show where people once lived and worked. Mandal's communes are so far apart that a whole solar day can pass before a disappearance is noted, and certainly too distant for help to be dispatched once a raid begins. The inhabitants of Mandal have thus learned to dread the onset of dusk. As darkness descends, a curfew begins. Blast doors are sealed and sentries set. Yet every few nights another human settlement vanishes without warning and without a trace. Ironically, Tantis was only ever intended as a Necron way station for resources and raw materials. It lacks the ability to use more than a fraction of the plunder taken from the planet below, and was to ship the excess to other nearby core worlds. Since the Great Sleep, however, Tantis portions of the webway have become sundered from all others, effectively isolating it from the Necron world it used to supply. Accordingly, Tantis is slowly drowning in plundered resources, for which it has little use, yet still the raids of Mandal continue. And those were 40 facts about Necron Tomb Worlds. There's more Tomb World stories to come, so please subscribe to the channel to get those videos. If you guys have any other topics that you guys would like us to cover, please comment down below. Don't forget to put suggestion followed by whatever your request may be. And again, guys, thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. If you want to help us out a little bit more, jump on over to Patreon. A simple $1 a month helps us create more videos for you guys. If not, simply by liking, commenting, and sharing, it helps out a lot. I'll see you tomorrow. This was Gershwin with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.